welcome. My name is Rachel. I'm a homeschool mom of 4 boys, ages 10 to 19. I have been homeschooling for 14 years and graduated my 2 oldest. So this coming school year, I have a 5th grader and a 10th grader. And I just want to share a little bit about my 5th grader's curriculum, which is from Heart of Dakota Creation to Christ. Now this is a bulk of his curriculum, and when I open the guide, I'll show you what I mean and explain that to you. But this is a curriculum we keep coming back to. It is a Christian worldview. It is Charlotte Mason inspired, and it's almost like a boxed curriculum. Everything is there. And it's also literature based, which that really drew me to it because that was a curriculum I was looking for. I wanted books to tell me about history. I just didn't want my boys reading some facts that they probably would not remember. I wanted it to come alive to them, and I really feel like using literature based books makes that happen so much. It gives them a real true picture of what it was like then. So I am going to open the guide, and I'm also going to show you the notebook pages that they have. And my son was very excited. I had them spiral bound, so they do come in, they're actually hole punched. I don't know if you can see that. So you could put them in a 3-ring binder, which I have done, but this coming school year I decided for my 5th grader and 10th grader to go ahead and have them spiral bound, and they put a little clear cover over them and a black heavy-duty piece on the back for me, and it was probably around $3.50 to $4 to have that done extra. But he was excited. I think he felt like this was something for someone older, so he is looking forward to this, and I'm going to show you a little bit of this inside and why I really feel like it is important to have the notebook pages, at least starting in Creation to Christ up through middle school and high school. So I have already put in a couple of days into this curriculum. It was so encouraging. It is Creation to Christ, so it will start from the beginning, and the books that it uses and the reading that we have done, I've really just pointed you to the truth. A lot of scripture is given through the reading that you can also look up. Now, I'm not going to show you all the books and the spines and the science books. I'm not going to show you all that right now. If you are interested in a little bit more detail of what is involved, I will link my 5th grade curriculum haul below, and you can see a little bit what is included, but I will also be sharing reviews for the books throughout the school year. And if you're interested in this type of content, and I will be doing other homeschool content from a high schooler, please subscribe, hit that likes button. That would encourage me so much. All right, let's turn the camera around and take a look inside this guide and the notebook pages. Okay, we're going to take a look inside the teacher guide, student guide. You can call it either one because it does tell you everything to do, and it does build on independence. So I'll show you what that means. This is a catalog from Heart of Dakota, and I really encourage you to call them. I know you can look at everything online, but this will just sort of narrow it down and give you a little bit better idea. And the website is better. They have improved it, so it is easy to maneuver. But they will have different packages: science, history, story time, Bible, writing, grammar, and extensions. So, and that's all in here, and a picture of what some of the notebook pages will look like, which I will show you also. So, just want to share that with you. Let's look inside the teacher's book here. And it says ages 9 to 11 right here on front. Sort of gives you a table of content from the beginning all the way. Jesus lays down his life, the way, the truth, and the life. The church is persecuted, missionary journeys, and to the ends of the earth, which would be the spread of Christians. So that gives you an idea how far it goes. Gives you complete information on how to use everything and the resources and the components, about history, independent study, and I'll talk more about this when I open it up here. History projects, Bible quiet time, story time, and then also for older students, independent. So they have geography, Bible study, poetry, and they also have art that goes with the poetry, grammar and writing, dictation, handwriting and copy work, reading, math exploration, independent and science exploration. And that's all listed right here. And then it gets into the Unit 1, Day 1. And let me mention, this is a 4-day program. So that is really nice, especially if you want your child is involved in like a co-op or something else. In the past, when my older boys were younger, we used this program and they were at a co-op. And they pretty much, the only thing they did was the science. This is our first year using Heart of Dakota Science for this program. So I'm very excited about it. I mean, he's excited about it. The book choices, he's really interested in. So you really start out, you'll have independent, you'll have I for independence, T for teacher, and then S for the student. You sort of guide them and help them get started and give them the project. So there's quite a bit of independence. Now I will tell you, and I'll talk about this more in future videos and where we're at with that, but a lot of this we've been doing together, I think most of it. Now we take turns reading, like this story of the ancient world. I've actually read. He said he'd rather read the storytime book, but I've had him read it out loud to me. So with any curriculum, you are still the teacher and you can still make the choices. But my hope is by the end of the school year that he will fall into more of the independent boxes. So there is a history project weekly, and I'll give you an idea of what this week's was in a minute. There's a storytime book, which correlates with the history that you're studying. They do give 2 other options, a boy and a girl option, and I'll show you those. Those are in the back of the book. They're also in the catalog and online if you do not want to purchase the ones that correlate with the history. But they're very good. Those are what brings the history alive. Independent study, you'll be listening to some CDs and you'll be doing some other work in your notebook. And you'll also be doing some writing and narration from the history in your notebook, but it's not every day. So this side is all about your history. And then you have a Bible quiet time, which, because it's creation of Christ, will relate to the history because we're starting in Genesis. And we're also memorizing Philippians chapter 2. All right, this is an older guide, so I will tell you they have replaced the Bible study book with a different one called Radical Book. And we did get that, and we're just going to read whenever they have Bible study, which is twice a week. We will read a lesson out of there. So if you have the new book, that is great. It will tell you exactly what to read, but that's how we're going to do it. Language arts, they have drawn into the heart of reading. We will not be doing that. With this curriculum, you can pick and choose. It says work with the student to complete one of the English options listed below, and then it says your own grammar program. So it's really up to you. We are not using their grammar program, which they use Rod and Staff, which I like, and we may use in the future, but not this school year. Just using something I already have. So Bible study, language arts, poetry, and for week 1, that is done every day, and that includes art. And I'll show you a little bit about that in a minute. And then math. And right here again, your own math program, which we are using our own, but they use Singapore. And I cannot say anything about Singapore, but I've heard great things about it. So it's just something, we had already started a math program we enjoyed before we started Heart of Dakota, and it was working for us. So this will give you a layout, and this is all one day. Day 1, history, Bible, language arts, poetry and art, math and science. So, and I really feel like this was so doable. We came from preparing hearts for His glory. It is laid out a little bit differently, but I was like pleasantly surprised. He just seems ready for it. So, and we're very excited about the school year. So, okay, let's just look at the whole week. Everything pretty much stays the same box-wise, except the Bible study. I'm trying to think of anything else. It goes to geography, which we're using our own geography also. And then Bible study again, which is that new book I told you about, and then geography, and I think everything else stays the same. You'll have different work for different things, like independent study. You know, it might tell you to look at one thing one day and another thing another day. Let me show you the notebook because that will explain some of that. For example, one of the independent studies throughout the school year will be this prophecies about Christ. And what you're pretty much doing is wherever you are in history and there's a prophecy about Christ, you'll write the verse down and it will tell you down here what to write. And you're looking up the verses and you'll write the fulfillment from the New Testament and then a description, which, to be honest, today I just had my son copy what they had in the key ideas, which is really nice. They have key ideas for all the history. So, and also the science. Well, really most of the subjects. So, but that is helpful, especially when they do become more independent and they are doing their own reading. You can see sort of what happened that day, what they were talking about, what were they supposed to learn. So that is nice for the parents. Go ahead and finish showing you. This was, so the very beginning, so he'll always come back to the beginning, but this is Unit 1. And today he was to write something from his reading and draw a picture of it. Throughout the notebook, there's always going to be 2 boxes at the top. You know, jump back here. There's 4 boxes, 3 boxes. Those are going to be your timelines, and it will tell you what to write date-wise and what to draw. Now, I have debated on using like a little card for him to draw on and putting it in there, but I will let you know. He has not got to that yet. This was actually in the history project part right here. And they gave you, sort of started throughout the week. The history project is something that takes all week to do. So this was like day 1, you do this. You actually are supposed to draw something very lightly on the front of it, but I didn't want to push that. But if you have an artistic child, that would be great. And then you're going to just be filling in. So he's only filled in the first 2, the generations from Adam to Noah. Okay? So there's always work to be done in the notebook page. In the notebook, almost every day, I would say, that would have to do with your history. I hope that gives you some idea, and I might try to share more of that as we go throughout the school year. For the poetry, so Bible time would be him reading out of the Bible. We're not using the Illustrated Family Bible. He's just going to read from the Bible. He is fine with that. He already reads out of the Bible, so that is not a problem for him. And then memorizing Philippians 2. Now over here, we have our own language arts, math. I'm not going to talk about all that, the science. I have printed off some notebook pages off of the Facebook Creation to Christ page that under their files. So that is available if you do want notebook pages. If not, they're not necessary, I don't think, even in the new book. Bible, we are doing that. Poetry and art. Okay, this is really the first time we've ever done this, and my son is actually quite excited about it. And I will show you, let me show you the back of the book because that would help you understand where we're at. They have all the poetry in the back, and I think they're all Robert Frost. Let me make sure. Yeah, it looks like they're all going to be Robert Frost. So he just, throughout the week, you'll read this a few times. This is the drawing, and you're supposed to have them copy this onto a card. I just made a copy and let him cut it out. Right now there's a lot of writing, and I actually have him doing, for his geography there's some writing. He's doing a spelling program that's a little bit different. So right now we're just going to be doing this, and then it tells you what to do each and every day for the painting. So this was his work. I actually did it with him because this is our first time really doing something like this with painting. So I took a sheet, he took a sheet, we followed the directions, but this was his final work, and I think he was pretty excited about it. I actually posted this on Instagram. If you don't follow me, check me out on Instagram because I do show more things over there of how our school year is going. So all the poems are in the back, and it will tell you to refer back here. And if you can copy them, that would be great. That's what I did. If not, they can copy them. Let me also show you, it gives you each of the storytime titles and what they're about if you wanted more detail, and I think you can look that up on their website. They also have a basic package option for boy interests. You don't want to use the story time, and they have a girl interest. Now, let me tell you, just so you know, because I don't know if I would have known this, but under story time, they're only going to give you directions for the ones that are related to the history. The directions for the girl and the boys are in the back. So they do tell you what units you'll be reading them through, but it doesn't tell you day by day how much to read, from what I can tell. And these are all good books. Like my son is actually, we have this on audio. He's actually listened to this several times. And the girls, you can also look that up online, what their choices are. And they all look like good choices from what I can tell. So I did want to share that with you. And also in the back, they will have the independent study schedule. That's actually laid out what you're supposed to do or read every day if they're doing the extensions. I'm sorry, not independent study, but extension package. So if you get the books for the older student, maybe you have a 7th grader or even a 6th grader who you want to do the extensions, or you're combining and have an older or younger and you want the older to do the extensions, there is a daily schedule in the back, which is nice. And they have science lab sheets. I have printed out the science notebook, so I'm not going to need these, but if you didn't, they're back here. Narration teachers, tips for the teacher. How to narrate student lists. So you can print this out and give this to them and just review it and encourage them through the narration. They'll do written narration and they'll also do oral narration. Here it talks about the written. And then they also have dictation, which I think is listed under the, let me double check and make sure I tell you right, the language arts. And I don't think that's done every day. We've done this in the past. I really wanted to make it happen this year, and it is something you could add in a few months or halfway through the school year, so we'll see. They have a level 3. Let's see how many levels they have. They have different levels, which makes it nice, all the way up to level 5. Right? Or do they have a level 6? Let me see. Yeah. And then it actually talks about math, which I think is a different level. Let me double check for you. Yeah, so 4 and 5 for Singapore are up here. But if you're doing 3, it's in the back. So that's really nice that they do that for you. And yeah, well, all the schedules looks like are in the back. So, and then poetry. All right, and the rest of the book is your daily units, weekly work. So, all right, I hope that was helpful to somebody. Let me know if this is new to you or if you have used it, or if you're interested in knowing more. Excited about sharing our journey through this school year. Like I said, I don't know if I've mentioned, but I've done this a couple times already with 2 of my older boys, and I just thought I need to record this. I want to keep record of what we've done, and it's going to be a little bit different because each child is different, but excited to share our journey with you all. I appreciate you all watching. Have a great week. Thank you.